Good morning to everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. It's a nice, cloudy, blue, gray, rainy season uh, here in Bangkok, Thailand today. Today, I'm going to do something I haven't done before, and that's tell you my complete travel story. From America to Thailand and how I got from America to Thailand, the process I went through, and we're going to talk about my life while I was preparing to come abroad, while I was preparing to travel abroad. I'm even going to talk about some relationships I had. I'm going to talk about the influences that made me want to come abroad. I'm going to talk about some trips that I took that made me want to live abroad. What's up, Cody? Asia Unscripted. Hey, Jose, Robert, man. All you guys are in the house, and I appreciate it very, very much. I'm looking forward to this live stream because I haven't given a total complete history yet. So, with that being said, about a minute into it. Hey, Mango, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. I'll let everybody try to roll in here in the first 3 or 4 minutes, or first 2 minutes, and we'll get started. It's going to be definitely a different kind of storytelling session today. What's up, Gerald? Good to see you, man. Thanks for dropping by. Much appreciated. Got some videos to edit for my channel members later on today, and got one to edit for the channel itself. So hopefully the channel members approve of the video, and we will put it on the main channel. But so we've been going for 2 minutes, and we got some people in the house. What's up, Chris C? Good to see you back, man. Good to see you back. Just for the record, everybody knows same goals as yesterday, and I'm going to get to storytelling in just a second. Todd, what's happening, brother? He says, hello, JC at Cody in Texas, Main Sticker Rights. Good to see you, man. Thanks for coming by. Phil Thos, this is where we find out JC is really a rock. Yeah. Bob says, hi, I'm from the Pacific Northwest. Hey, Bob. Good to see you, man. Tim, what's up? Hadn't seen you in a while. Glenn B, what's happening? Roger McGee is in the house. Good to see a couple of my moderators in here. I appreciate you guys stopping by very, very much. And all right. So I'm going to get to rocking. And when I say rocking, I mean talking. And I will try to keep up with your comments as best as possible, but I want to be able to make sure I complete all my thoughts before I go over to the comment section. So you guys feel free to talk to each other if you would like in the comment section, or you can put questions up there as I talk, and I will answer them. L. Hansen from John Tien, welcome. Thank you for coming in the house, and going to listen to a very different kind of story. Mango says North Carolina is losing 7-31 Florida State since you're wearing North Carolina shirt. Yeah, I know it's bad. I'm a Tar Heel, but whatever. Okay, so let's go all the way back to 1999. Let's go all the way back to 1999. I graduated high school in 99, and I had a small scholarship that would have paid for most of my college had I went, but I was so naive, and I was so bound by wanting everybody's approval and wanting to do things that everybody wanted me to do. Hang on one second, guys. You guys know I'll stop if there's a PayPal or anything like that. Bam. Somebody's already hit the PayPal. Oh, Mr. Yates, thank you so very much for getting the day started. I appreciate that very, very much. Thank you. Thank you, Gerald. I appreciate it. Very, very, very much appreciate it. All right. So, I really appreciate that, Gerald. I just want to make sure I keep moving through the story here. So, in 1999, my friends were pretty much my crutch, and I leaned on them and that kind of thing. I passed up the scholarship like a like a moron would. And I decided to go to work with my best friend in a modular home plant. We lived in rural county in North Carolina, and that was one of the main jobs back then. We had three different companies in the region, and when I say region, I mean in the county. And I went to work. I went to work full time, hardcore, 5, sometimes 6 days a week, and I mean it was work. It was work, and I proceeded to do that for several years. Um, I worked at a grocery store during the time I was in high school. I worked at a rent center. And in my mid 20s, I sold cars for 2 years. So that's kind of my working background to give you guys a timeline. I think 2005 to 2007 was my car dealing years, I believe. Um, Tim said you graduated in '99. I graduated in '84. You're old. It's all good, man. So in '99, went to work and had the luxury of taking a vacation. Me and my father took a vacation in late 2000. Just me and him. We took a cruise, and it was a Carnival Cruise. It was on a small ship called the Jubilee, but when I say small, there's nothing really small about a cruise ship. It was probably just one of the smaller ones in the fleet. As I took this cruise, I was astonished by what they could put on a boat. Like you could just ride me around on the boat forever, and I would never care about it. Like just ride me around on the boat. And I had got another PayPal in here. Thank you very much, Mr. Doorman. Appreciate it. I won't say your whole name because I don't know if people know it or not. Thank you. We're 15 in already and barely getting started. So I appreciate that very much, sir. Thank you. And why don't I have my volume up? Now my volume's up, so it should make a noise. As I began this cruise, I knew we were going to stop in the British West. Is it the British West Indies or the British Virgin Islands? I think it's the British Virgin Islands. I don't know. And then Cozumel, Mexico. We were going to stop there. And the boat itself, the boat ride was just wonderful. There was so much entertainment on there, and I was like, "This is what a real vacation." Yeah, you're right, Phil. There's nothing small except your room. But this is what a real vacation feels like. I'd never been on a real vacation ever. Like we would get a week off and I would go to the mountains or something like that. Well, congratulations and thank you for your service there, Tim. Appreciate that. So I couldn't get I couldn't get over the fascination of what a real vacation was. Me and my father were having a great time, and we made our first stop in Cozumel, Mexico. What's up, Prep for it? Good to see you, man. And as we stopped, we got off, and that was the first time that my feet had ever hit foreign soil. We got off immediately, went to the local bars because at that time I was drinking and partying and all that stuff. So we went to the bars and just had. I wish I could explain in detail on YouTube. Unfortunately, I can't. But we had I call it the Pattaya Plus experience. It was like going to Pattaya on steroids. That's what the city was like, and I was just astonished at what went on in another country, right? And so we stayed for about 3.5, 4 hours. I'll never forget the club we were looking for. I was in a relationship with a girl at the time, and she was also in another relationship. Go figure. And but this was American women, and she told me to go to Carlos and Charlie's. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Carlos and Charlie's or not, but it's a very well known establishment. Good morning, Robert Mack. Good to see you, brother. And yes, please hit the thumbs up button, everyone. But we went to Carlos and Charlie's, and I had never seen partying like that before in a bar. I just hadn't. I'd never seen somebody really party like put your neck back on the counter, and the waitresses or hostess, whatever you want to call them, were just dumping whatever kind of alcohol you wanted into you. So they were partying, dancing. I mean, it was crazy, crazy. And I was glad I read about that before I got there, because that was my first experience in Mexico, which is why I'm not going to lie. I really want to go back to Mexico one day and just chill out for about a year and see what it's like. But that being said, we then journeyed to Grand Cayman, and so this is a volcanic island, of course, and there's a lot of volcanic rock out there. There's a whole bunch of stuff to see and do. It's a very, very small actual town that has a post office. Now, for some context, my father and stepmother at the time had just broken up. Okay, they had just broken up, and my dad was feeling a little vengeance. The town itself was called Hell, Hell. That's what the name of the town was called, because it was filled with volcanic rock, right? So the post office was the post office from hell. And there was a postcard in there that said, it just said hell across the front of it. And on the back, my dad wrote, "Wish you were here," and mailed it to my stepmom. And I still to this day find that to be one of the most fun experiences I've ever had traveling, because it was like the perfect thing ever. I mean, where do you find towns like that, right? So he says that we have a great time. I'm on the boat, and I'm like, man, I've got to figure out a way to take vacations like this more often, because it was great. I remember riding on the boat. It was a 5-day cruise, and just riding on the boat and thinking, even if I didn't get off anywhere, what's up? Are you experienced? Good to see you, brother. But even if I didn't get off the boat anywhere, I could still have an amazing time, because they had plenty of nightclubs, they had plenty of bars and other things you could do. That sunbathing decks, pools, fancy restaurants, all of that stuff, and it was all included. And what's up, Eric? Good to see you, man. Thanks for joining the chat, bro. And we were let's see, Robert Mack says Grand Cayman Island, an hour flight from Florida. Just got invited there. Friend has a house there. Unfortunately, can't go that far yet. Yep, that's what happens. So we got back from the boat in 2000. And then I had to go to work like 2 days later, back to building houses. And for the next year, my brain could not think of anything other than being on that boat and experiencing that vacation. I was just out. I was elated by it. And to most people, are probably going, "Dude, you're like weird." And yeah, I was a small country boy from a small country town, and I had never experienced anything like that. We drove from North Carolina we spent the night in Daytona Beach, Florida, and then went to, I believe we sailed out of Tampa Bay, if I'm not mistaken, the next day. And so that's how we got on the cruise ship. And it was amazing, absolutely amazing. So didn't have any other vacation really or travel experience to speak of. Traveled a little bit around the United States for the next couple of years, but as you guys know, I was not in good shape during my 20s, so didn't do a lot of traveling. As I became aware that my life needed a serious overhaul, I was 30 years old and decided to make that change. So when I made that change, I started school almost about 6 months after I had started working on me, right? So I started school, everything was paid for. I had to take a bunch of remedial classes, all that stuff to get caught up. My sophomore year, there was I was studying Spanish, and so most of you know this. I was studying Spanish in um, like I wanted to minor in Spanish, and unfortunately that didn't happen. But I was taking a lot of Spanish classes, and I had met a Spanish tutor that I was so scared of because she was so beautiful and she was so just at the time I thought she was just perfect in every way, and I was really, really, really looking forward to more Spanish tutoring. Griffin, what's up? Good to see you, man. Today, that girl, by the way, is one of my best friends, and so this has been what six, 7 years ago. But I enjoyed going to tutoring, and I stayed stuck on her, even though she wouldn't have anything to do with me. I stayed stuck in that relationship in my head for a couple years, and that broke down, thankfully, because today we can see where that would have headed, which would have been nowhere fast. Um, but I learned a lot from her. And one of the things I learned in 2014, I was a sophomore in college, and I had the opportunity to go to Peru for a month and to stay there for a month with in a guest house, 2 meals a day, and we had to go to school 5 days a week. They also had a ton of extracurricular activities in Peru for us, some of which meant that we got to go to Machu Picchu, which was amazing. We got to see a lot of old ruins and a lot of the way that agriculture was processed back in the day. I think that really, yeah. I don't make me answer that, Todd. Don't make me answer that, please. I know you're saying, "Hey, how are you?" But I don't. I'll just say uh, I'm good because I don't want to go into Spanish right now. I'll lose my train of thought. um, but anyway, I had a ton of fun in Peru and really got to see things that I'd never seen before. Like there, you could see these old women. They were walking with straw hats that carried bundles of like potatoes or whatever the case may be. Yeah, I know, Ty. Somebody had to do it, right? But they would carry that and they would walk for miles. I mean, miles. We would be on the tour bus and you would see one lady way back in the back, and then you go another 5 miles and you see another lady walking out in the field, and then another 5 miles and there's another lady walking out in the field, and all these people were walking to thanks for putting up the PayPal link, our experience, I appreciate that. But I got to see a culture I'd never seen before. We actually got to get off and go to one of these um, one of these people's houses, and it was literally made from brick and mortar. I mean, not brick and mortar, mud, and like the Inca mortar that they make. And the coolest thing about, I was in Cusco, Peru, and the coolest thing about that part of Peru, that they're very prone to earthquakes, as you know, in that part of the world. So they built, I don't know how they did this. This is hundreds of years ago. They built these bricks and they would slide on top of each other. There was no mortar in there. The house, some of the houses, these were old houses that were made of like mud and just stuff thrown together. But once you got into the city, they built these rock formations that were so tight they would slide back at the bottom. The foundation would slide back and forth, and the top of the house would never move. Um, Griffin says being in Florida gets past my bedtime. Oh no, sorry to hear that, Griffin. Please check out the replay. Um, we, I just got to see some of the stuff that I've never really seen before, and a culture that I had never experienced before. That was really my first time. Even though I had fun in Mexico, that was really my first time um, seeing and understanding. What's up, Mr. Mitch? I know you said hey to Robert Mack, but I'll say hey to you anyway. That was the first time I'd really gotten to experience some culture. Like really gotten to experience some culture. And the way people lived there was so cheap. And I noticed that um, there was no regulations on like exhaust or like we have in the states, I guess the EPA or whatever. There was none of that stuff, and some of these people would come down and they would be driving a truck and they would just blast you with a big I mean just black smoke all over your face, and you get to school and your face is black and you got to go wash it off. It was really 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 interesting. um Now, Chris, it's okay. We interrupt because we need to sometimes, and some people have questions, and I want to be able to answer them. It's okay. Um, that's typically how we've always done it, and that's what we'll continue to do probably. Um, but after I finished that month in Peru, of course, there was Peruvian women that I just admired, and I had like what do they call those buddies that you used to write? Crap, pen pal. I had like a pen pal buddy who was a Peruvian lady for quite some time after that adventure, and I was very pleased, very pleased. During this time, I had met so many people, like in Charlotte, where I was living and going to school. I had met so many people from Brazil, Colombia, um, Ecuador, Guatemala, Mexico, just tons and tons and tons of people I had met. So all these cultural influences were kind of shaking off on me, and I was just becoming this better person every day, and I felt so good about it. I It took me a grand total of 6 years to finish that bachelor's degree, but had I not finished that bachelor's degree, I wouldn't be sitting here right now because I couldn't teach in Thailand, which is kind of bringing me around to where I wanted to go. So I got to thinking to myself, at the time I was living on fixed income. So I got to thinking to myself, like, where could I go with my income and live a decent life? Because it's not here in America, for sure. Not sure what barbecue gophers are, but if you're talking about guinea pig, I tried one bite and then I was not a fan, Mango. Um, I went, so I started looking around YouTube, is what I did. I was, for during this whole process, starting about 2000 and I would say 15, something like that. I took up a love for, I'd always loved airplanes, but I took up a love for aviation. And more importantly, I took up a love for photography because when I went to Machu Picchu in 2014, I was like, man, I really wish I knew how to operate a camera like the right way. I took a lot of pictures there, but they're not good pictures. I didn't have any, knew nothing at the time. But to come back and I was like, you know what? Next year I'm getting a camera. So I did. And it was a basic camera. It was a DSLR, but it was still a basic camera with basic lenses. And I started taking pictures of planes, and that's how I really got into photography. That's what brought me into photography was aviation. Our experience is eat the worm and max, and no disrespect if you stop drinking spot. No, I was still drinking it at then. That was I was 20 years old, or 20, no, 20, I was 21 years old. So it must have been in 2000. Yeah, I was 20 years old. 21, I'm sorry, 21. And I was drinking in Mexico, but I did not eat the worm. I've never eaten the worm. I can't, I can't do that. I just can't do it. Um, so moving forward, I started thinking about places I knew I was going to graduate college, in a couple of years. Eric says my phone wallpaper is a pic I took of a 22 of a Raptor beside a P-51 Mustang. Wow, that's a heck of a shot. I did. I got invited to do a photo shoot right before I left for abroad, with Jack Roush's hangar with his P-51 Mustang and a bunch of Hooters girls that were doing a promotion. So it was cool. It was really cool. But I didn't put any of the pictures as a background. I would love to see. The only Raptor I saw was in Louisville. Oh, I forgot to mention I moved to. I actually lived in a little town in Indiana, but it was right across the river from Louisville, Kentucky. So I can't remember what the name of it was, but Mr. Mitch, I hear you, man. I was pretty happy when I saw that 22 Raptor go across the bridges there that separate Indiana and Louisville. I was there for the Derby, and I was also there for, I forgot what they call it, but it's a big fireworks show. Like they line the bridges with fireworks, and they have an air show that day and all that stuff. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I got to see all that, and that was in my that was right before I decided that, you know what, it's really time to do something different, Jeremy. So I have to uh, come back to reality now. So now I'm like, a year and a half, 2 years out of college, and I'm trying to think of what I want to do. And at the time, I didn't want to work a 9 to 5. Yes, Cadillac of the sky. That's it, Mr. Mitch. I didn't want to work 9 to 5 and just have a regular job and blah 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 and all this stuff. I wanted to travel, and lucky for me, at the time I had the income coming in, so I could travel. And I kept watching best places to travel, and the Philippines kept coming up as the most inexpensive place to live for expats. And I finally got to know some expats via YouTube that I wish I'd never met in my life. My life would be a different life had I not met them. But in the beginning, it was fun. And everybody always said, go somewhere and stay. If you're going to go live abroad, go somewhere and stay for at least basically as long as you can, at least a month, right? Well, I didn't have that. I didn't have that. I had a week. That was over Christmas break before my last semester of college, or my last full semester of college. Yeah, thanks for continuing to put that up, our experience. I appreciate it, man. Gordon, what's up, man? Good to see you this morning. Good to see you. So I decided I would take a 1 week trip to the Philippines and see if it was a place that I felt comfortable enough to live. And at the time, I thought it was the coolest thing ever to be in a different culture, in a different place. It's like it was great, and I was completely sold 100%. I went to Cebu, and basically I spent the week exploring Cebu, Lahug, and what's the other place that starts with the Mandawi, and that IT Park area in the Philippines, right? So I spent time exploring all that, and I was like, yes, I can definitely live here. I found out some prices on some condos, and I booked in advance. After I got back home, I booked an Airbnb, and I was set to go, and I had booked it for the week after I was going to graduate. So literally 3 days, I believe it was 2 or 3 days after I graduated, I got on an airplane to go back to the Philippines to live. Now, that first airplane flight over there and back was a doozy because I went from Charlotte to JFK, which is about an hour and a half flight, hour and 45 minutes. And then I had an 8-hour layover, and I took a 15 and a half hour one-way, nonstop, I should say, to from JFK to Taipei, and then another about 2.5, 3.5, I can't remember, 2.5, 3.5 hour ride into Cebu. I actually landed in Cebu, Mactan Airport. I didn't, it's on the island of Mactan, or Mactan, however you want to say it. Yes. Preport says, this is interesting, Jeremy. I'm listening intently. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Thanks for throwing up the PayPal, Robert. Always looking to hit Sunday goals here. You guys can explain that if you want to. It's up to you. So, what essentially happened was by the time I got to the Philippines, this was on my first visit. By the time I got to the Philippines on my first visit, I was jet lagged and just whooped. But I got up the next day out of my Airbnb and that I was staying at, and I decided, I was like, wow, this is going to be a good place for me. I'll fit in here. And I didn't know anything really about the country at that time. Had I known then what I know now, probably would have chosen a different destination. But it was still a different destination within the Philippines. I would have chosen to live out like on the islands, somewhere like Palawan or Coron, or somewhere like that, somewhere where I could access El Nido and or Boracay, or I hope I say this right, Siriago, or whatever that place is called. I would have been able to access those places normally, but also the healthcare was in. You guys know I've had healthcare issues pretty much my whole life, so the healthcare was in Cebu. And no, I never went to Dumaguete, Mr. Mitch. Never went to Dumaguete. I never did. Hey, Matt Tech, good to see you, man. Most experience sans losing a leg are ultimately beneficial. I would agree that most experience are ultimately beneficial, even if they're bad. Yeah, that's true. Hey, Bob, good to see you, man. Thanks for joining the chat. I appreciate it very much. So I'm in there, and I'm in Cebu, and I'm thinking, yep, this is going to be the place. So Jay Griffin says, just hit the like button. Yeah, please hit the like button, guys. I appreciate it. Really helps the channel out. I got on the plane to go back home, and I was so excited to go back home because I had vlogged. My very first ever true vlogs came out of the Philippines. You can watch the very first vlog if you want to, but it's not the first vlog on this channel. I had to redo it. I forgot what it's called, what the name of it is. But anyway, I'll put it up so you guys can watch it at some point in time. Tim says, I've heard Cebu was a nice city. It is a nice city. Craig, hey Craig, what's up, man? Good to see you, brother. I see you on Facebook, and I know you're still kicking, man. You're doing an awesome job, man. It's really a pleasure for you to stop by. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. So come home, and I start immediately preparing for life in the Philippines. And that's what happened. I told everybody when I was in college, that last semester, that I was moving to the Philippines. All my friends and everybody, and most of them, not all of them, most of them are like, dude, seriously, like you're gonna move and live in the Philippines? Come on, bro. You'll be back in a few months. We'll see you then. And needless to say, I graduated in 2017. So that the summer of 2017, they hadn't seen me yet. Um, Now, how did I? What happened in the Philippines that let me do these things, make things right? Take guts to get out to do that right out of the gate. They say, yeah, it did. I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous, but I had already. What I did was I went there. I checked out the scene. I knew I could get the health care I needed. I knew what the prices were going to be. I had a vague idea of what places were going to rent for. I knew what my income was, so I didn't have to worry about that. I had planned it out pretty good. But at the time, I didn't know how to budget. I didn't know how to, I didn't know how to save money. I didn't know how to do anything. And I didn't have a job. So I had all day to do everything. And if you go back and look at my Philippine vlogs, there's a ton of them because I just didn't have anything else to do. What year was this, said Chris? I moved to the Philippines in July of 2017. So, and I stayed there 9 months. I stayed there until April of 2018. First 4 months I was there, I lived in Cebu. And I made the mistake. This is the problem right here. I went in there with that Western mentality, thinking, oh, I got, USA dollars and it's going to convert so well, blah, blah, blah. And I got this 20,000 peso a month apartment, which was nice. Don't get me wrong. And got the fancy internet and all that stuff. And then I realized I didn't have a lot of money left over at the end of the month to travel anywhere. And I was like, because I was already in a year lease. And I was convinced by these, what I now know to be narcissistic, sociopathic people to move up north and to move up north in the northern Visayas. I mean, not Visayas, Luzon, but above Manila. And when I moved above Manila for the first few weeks, everything was great. It was great. That was a very, very rural place in the Philippines. It was about a 4 hour drive from Baguio. If you've ever been to Baguio, any of you, I think that Baguio is one of the most beautiful places in the Philippines. It's also, in my opinion, the most Western place in the Philippines because it's there's a lot of colleges there. It's very mountainous. There's a lot of shopping to do. There's a big park. It's a cool place. It really is a cool place. Let's see. Michael says, DoMoreLife, what is your best estimate for how much you need saved before moving to the Philippines? That all depends on what you want to do when you get there, brother. All depends on what you want to do when you get there. With the insurance plans now, if you need health care and that kind of thing, you're going to need a lot of money saved before you move to the Philippines. I'll try to get into that a little bit later, but I want to make sure I get this story across. No disrespect at all, Michael. I appreciate the question. I'll definitely address that. Just remind me when I get towards the end of the story. So, I lived in Nueva Vizcaya, which consisted of basically like 3 towns that were about 30 minutes apart. That was Solano, Bayambang, and Bambang. Those were I lived in Solano and I lived in Bambang. Those were the 2 places that I lived in Nueva Vizcaya. Met a girl while I was in Nueva Vizcaya. Very good girl. Unfortunately, she got manipulated by those expats after I left, and even they tried while I was still there. But she was a good girl. and I can't really complain. And I had some other relationships while I was there. The first relationship I had in the Philippines was one I wish I would have hung on to for a little while, because that was a very unique situation. And but you never know what's going to happen. Like I've told the story about what happened in that first relationship. She was um, being sponsored, and um, I found this out later because we were Facebook friends, and she wound up coming to the United States, living in Charlotte, the same where I'm from, and being with a guy. I don't know if they're married yet or not. I think they are, but I know him from school. So it was one of those things. Good morning, Eddie. Filtho says, suggest you don't think on terms of saving, Michael, think in terms of cash flow, passive income. That's where I'm going with my thoughts, Filtho. That's where I'm going with my thoughts. So anyway, I had that first relationship, and before I moved out of Cebu, I met another girl who was my age. We were the same age, and she actually lived right beside me in the condo I lived in, so it made it very convenient. And we talked and developed a relationship. But one thing you got to know about the Filipino women, or Filipinas, is there are only a handful of them that will allow you to live kind of free, because the my take is over there that they tend to be very clingy. Not all of them, not all of them. I'm not saying all of them, but it tends to be clingy. One date and you're my boyfriend kind of deal. That's just kind of the way it works. And the first and second relationship I had didn't do that. Probably because they both had other relationships. I know now for sure the one did, but I didn't know about it. And the second one, if she did, I didn't know about it either. But when I moved up north in the Philippines, the best experience there was going to see Baggy out several times. And I have I have several vlogs from there, and it's a beautiful place. It really is a good place to go. Mango Sticky Rice says, JC, back to the college days. If you don't mind me asking, what school did you go to, and what was undergraduate did you get? I got an undergraduate in health communications, which is like pharmaceutical sales rep type job. And what was your other question? I went to UNCC, University of North Carolina at Charlotte. So, Bill Woman here and talks about flowers too much. I hear you, bro. But anyway, moving along, things didn't work out up north. Things did not work out at all. There's some very sick individuals that move out of America that go to these low-cost living countries, and when you when you engage in that type of behavior, or you see that type of behavior, take my advice: go the other direction, leave everything behind. It's not worth it. So at about the 9-month point of me being in the Philippines, enough was enough. The situation wasn't improving. There were just absolute madness was occurring, and I didn't want any more of it. So I decided that probably the best thing for me to do. Hey, 20 past 4, good to see you. I decided the best thing for me to do was to get out of the Philippines, and I made a pragmatic, logical decision, but I made it very fast. That Thailand seemed like the next best option, and I booked the ticket. and 3.5 hours later, I was in Thailand. Now, this whole process took about 4 days. Were you involved in any fights? No, I was not involved in any fights. These people were not the type of people that would fight you. They would go around trying to ruin your character by making up lies and having go file a false. They have like blotters and the like police blotters and stuff. They go put your name in the blotter for doing something that while you were sleeping, whatever. It was just a mess. And I got to Thailand, and I was like, wow, this is really a step up from the Philippines. And what I mean by step up is like the infrastructure. The infrastructure was a step up. The condos and apartments were a step up. Yeah, Thailand, number one option. Yes, MedTech. That's well, no, not the first one. Not the first one. Yeah, can't have that word up there. But yeah, not the first one. MedTech. I've never been accused of that ever, and certainly hope to not be, because that would just be foolish, absolutely foolish. So, moving on. Come into Thailand. I booked I booked Airbnb for a week, and I hit the ground running and found that apartment, that 6,000 baht a month apartment in Bangkok that most of you ask about, and you ask about the price and location, and they've changed. I don't remember where the location was, because remember, I moved to Rayong and stayed down there for 16 months. So I don't remember the exact location of where that condo was. And I know that as I was leaving, they were changing management and they were changing names. Yeah, you're right, MedTech. It's a go-to worst accusation, of course. And that's what people, they go for that. People still call me a drug addict, and, all kinds of just complete nonsense. Complete nonsense. It's to try to get a reaction out of me, and there's that. I'm not gonna. We have an old saying, right? If it don't apply, let it fly. In other words, if they call you something or they say something about you that is not true, just let it go. It's the people that spit all that garbage out that they're projecting that who they are onto other people. that's what you got to be careful of. So when they start calling people things like you mentioned, it's probably because they're involved in it. So thank you, Michael. But if it don't apply, just let it fly, man. Live a stress-free life and have a good time. Do what you can. Yes, sir, Bob. I'm staying strong. So I got to Thailand, and I was still not working, but I had decided that it was time for me to come off of the government's pocket in America, and I knew I had about 9 months of working to do. Yeah, projection. That's correct, MedTech. Yep. Terrible accusations are frequently that. I agree. And so I decided to go to work as an English teacher. I thought, well, this will be something fun. Maybe it'll get me by. Filtho says, go to worst accusations. They called him Republican. No politics. No politics. Not even. Okay, Robert got that one. I'm not sure what you're talking about 20 past 4, so let me just take that off just in case. Why did you start vlogging? Was that always the plan? Yes, it was always the plan. The plan is still to be involved in video in some type of way, form, or fashion, and to document. I would love to be a documentary filmmaker. That would be my ultimate goal, right? That would be my ultimate thing. But at the same time, I really enjoy just vlogging and talking to people from different places. Did you ever get an Osmo Pocket? I did. I used it for about 6 months, and it wasn't what I wanted. Addie says, mention Thailand and bad comments happen, walk away. Judgmental idiots ask questions. Have you ever been to Thailand? No. I'm not sure what you meant by that, Addie. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if somebody said something to you. I'll get into your 20 past 4. I'll get the Osmo questions. I'll get into all that in a little bit. I want to finish up my travel story here. So I'm in Thailand. I take the job in Rayong. And wouldn't you know it, that crazy people from countries I'm familiar with worked with me. And, I'm not going to say the name of the school because it wasn't the school's fault. The school was a good school. And so was the management and upper level people and everything. But, you can't take the nature of a human being out of them just because they move locations. It takes much more than that. It's 20 past 4. It's totally okay, man. Don't worry about it. I just want to make sure I finish my story because the topic here is my complete story of how I got from America to Thailand. And that's what I want to get through that. And then we can talk about whatever, whenever the answer is no, Addie. Let me just get through this, and then I'll take all the questions you got, and we'll try to shoot for our PayPal goal for the day. That would be nice. We already got a good start. I think we've about $15 has come in. So one of you guys want to throw the link up just in case somebody feels like hitting it, that would be great. Now, moving on. So I get to Thailand and I'm living in Bangkok. I was on a tourist visa, but I know I was going to stay here long term, and therefore that just pushed me that much harder to go ahead and get a job and get the process started so I could get off the government boob. You met a bad influence named Ross. Well, I don't think Ross is a bad influence. Ross has been, in fact, Ross has been. He's a certain type of person, but like he's a certain type of person, but at the same time, he's also one of the only completely honest expats I've ever met. Like, and I went through this a bunch. And he says kidding. Okay. Griffin says, see you on the replay. See you, buddy. Am too honest with idiots. Filtho says, I could imagine JC doing slice of life Thailand stories like NPR or National Public Radio, like Paul Harvey pieces. That's actually something I'm trying to work on, man. Ty Z, yes, Ross is not a bad influence. Very honest. I agree. Oh yeah, and Gordon. Gordon is definitely honest. I forgot you were in here, man. Gordon is definitely an honest expat. There's a lot of honest at Robert, Roger. I haven't met Roger in person, but I would assume he's very, very honest. If you keep up with him on Facebook, you know he's an honest person because he puts out what he thinks, and then stands by it, which to me brings honesty. But for all the honest people that I found, unfortunately, I found a bunch of dishonest, low-life human scum expats over here too. And the good news is I was much better prepared to deal with them over here than I was when I was in the Philippines, because I had never experienced those capabilities of a human being before. Like I didn't know people could literally just go crazy. I'd never seen that happen. Um, and over here it was no different. The underground Thailand vlogging is just it's horrible. It's horrible. But the good parts of Thailand far outweigh the problems of any vloggers or anything like that. Yes, Ross does give good advice. He's helped me a lot. So I'm living in Rayong, and hang on a second. MetTech says I'm a life scum, but I am honest, or I sincerely try to be. Hey, you are what you are, man. As long as you're self-aware, that's all that matters. If you guys are in the chat and you hadn't hit the thumbs up button yet, please do so. I would really appreciate that. So I'm in Rayong. I worked a year and a half at that school down there, and for some reason, people that my coworkers hooked up with one of these underground underbelly just people that I would never introduce anybody to. I'd be like, this is not a person I want you to know. And for some, they tag teamed my job or something, and I just got fed up with the day to day grind of the talking about me behind my back and saying just nasty stuff and just being really inhumane. No, these were foreigners. 20 past 4. I've never had a problem with the Thai, never. Since I've been here, no issues with Thai nationals. These are all Farang. Some of them from the Philippines, some of them from America, some of them from other countries. So it's but I decided another job opportunity came along is what happened, and I was really, really trying to get out of Rayong, the city, not necessarily the school. The school I worked at was great. I had such a great relationship with the kids. I taught the upper Madium level, so I think ages 15 to 18 is pretty much what I was teaching. So we got along great. They all spoke English. It was I like that, Robert. We had a great time. I got to know them, and I was really I earned their respect, and then when I did that, they earned they already had my respect, but when I earned their respect, it was so good. And we had a great teaching environment, learning environment. There was no stress, none of that stuff. Some of the guys come up to me after class and say, "Hey, I got a question about this, Teacher Jeremy. I got a question about this," and it was really nice to be. You couldn't be their friend, but you could be a friendly face that they could come to and trust, and that was so nice. But I wanted to get out of Rayong. I was really tired of living there. I spent the whole time I spent in Rayong. Virtually every weekend I went to Pattaya, or Pattaya, however you want to call it. And I went there because I started meeting friends for sure. When I first went there, I went there because I wanted to experience the same thing everybody else wants, which is the nightlife and the what really goes down in Pattaya. The oohs and the ahs and the what's really possible and what's really not. So I did that, and then as time went on, I started making a lot of content about Pattaya, and I had a video go viral. Got like 2.6 million views now or something, and that really pushed the channel and subscribers up. And I was feeling really good about YouTube and everything else. And since YouTube's made their changes, it's been a little bit harder. It's been a little bit more difficult for me to continue and press on the way I wanted to, because I wanted to get back to Bangkok. That was my main concern, was getting back to Bangkok. Well, I got back to Bangkok. I just got back to the wrong part of Bangkok. I didn't realize what was that viral video. It's my top suggestions for men traveling to Pattaya. And it's got my friend Jessica on the front of it and on the thumbnail, and it says, "Listen to me." That's the name of that viral video. And I made it a long time ago, and I'm going to go back and make another one because I'm going to do an updated version of that video. I've learned a little bit more. Robert, thank you for throwing up the PayPal link. I do appreciate that. So I was finally given the opportunity after working a year and a half at that school to come to Bangkok and work. And I wanted to come to Bangkok. And the teaching job up here is a little bit different from the teaching job I was doing in Rayong. It was wonderful. I still work there today. I've been there a little over a year and a month, something like that. And I think it's been a wonderful experience here in Thailand. It's been a wonderful experience getting to know the culture, getting to know the people. When I had plenty of free time, I got to know some of the women, and that was very, very, very. There's similarities. People compare the women in Thailand to the women in the Philippines, and hey, Stuck, there you are. I was wondering where you were, buddy. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Missed the notification. No problem. But they make that comparison, Thai girls and then the girls in the Philippines. While there are similarities, there are a lot of differences when it comes down to being like the actual person themselves, the actual culture themselves. A little bit different for sure. So after I moved to Bangkok, got my job, made it through the probation period, re-signed, and am very, 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 very happy to be in the position I am. Still maintain the YouTube channel, still and doing what I love. This is my true passion, right? I do enjoy teaching. For those that think I don't, I really enjoy teaching. But this is my passion in life. This is what I want to do. I want to either create content or just document content forever and make a living doing that. And eventually that's going to happen one way or the other, because I'm going to keep pushing forward until it does. No matter how many setbacks, no matter how many expats poop on my face, it doesn't matter. I'm going to keep going, and that's my plan. That's my plan. Stuck. Hang on one second. I'll tell you. I was thirsty. Stuck. We were talking about and it took me a whole hour to talk about how I got from America to Thailand. So I'm going to get up and get a Coke. And when I come back, it's all comments and questions. Be back in 1 second. All right, let's see what we got first here. Eric says, JC, ever thought of being a part of Airbnb experiences? You as a local could take people on a tour guide. Yes, I have thought about that, but I'm not sure that I can do it based on Thai law. What I mean by that is there are certain jobs in Thailand that you cannot do as a foreigner. You're right. 20 past 4. Thank you for saying good attitude. And Chris C, perseverance wins always. I agree. As long as just because you're doing something doesn't mean you're achieving anything, because you can move around really fast and never achieve anything. But in my case, I've just had to learn how to be patient, and that's what it's been. But Eric, to answer your question, a tour guide is listed on one of the no-can-do jobs for a foreigner on Thai visas. So maybe Airbnb. I would agree. I would hope it would be related, and maybe that would be something that would work out. But I'm definitely looking at options. There is definitely, unless somebody dies, um, there's going to be a big change in my life coming up sometime around March of next year. And MetTech says I repeat my 2239 question. Brother, I can't remember that. But Robert's got the PayPal link flowing. And you guys have heard my travel story, so we want to try to get the goal today if we can. Almost got there yesterday, and still had a great day yesterday, by the way. This has been a fun, and we're not going anywhere, or I'm not going anywhere. I want to stick around for a while and answer all your questions. And see what I can do to talk to you guys about the ins and outs of traveling. That's why I do some of these traveling videos, because just because I don't travel as much as I used to. Like living in let me give you an example. Living in Rayong and going to Pattaya every weekend. Okay. That was doable because I could get on my motorbike and be in Pattaya in an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes. No problem. So it made for a real easy ride. And it was great. Now, I'm on the western side of Bangkok, as everybody knows, and it's more expensive to get there as efficiently. It's not expensive to get there if you take a bus or something like that. But I've also played Pattaya out quite a bit. There are a lot of vloggers in Pattaya right now. That's not going to stop me from making a short trip down there at some point, just to kind of keep up with what's going on, because my last trip down there was not very good, to say the least. The Buddy Show, what's up, man? Good to see you. MetTech says, how can you guard against such nefarious collusion from repeating? You can't. But what you can do is you can set yourself up. You shouldn't have to move on every time you are attacked by the expats. Yeah. So what I've done is I have a lawyer, and I keep them on retainer. They have probably, I don't know, 27 to 30, maybe more than that, U.S. affidavit signed. I've been to the Australian embassy here and gotten affidavits against some Australians in the country that have caused harm. I made sure that, and then give that to my lawyer so he can keep on file. And I make sure that I guard against the means of legal threats that way. I've also filled out numerous police reports in various, especially in Rayong, and filled out a couple in different areas of Bangkok. And just recently found out that there's a thing like a restraining order that you can get here. So the attorney that I keep on retainer is looking into that for me, and because that's not something that they normally have to deal with, but I apparently am not a normal expat that they have to deal with either. So people hate me because people come after me the way they do, MetTech. The only thing I can think of, I don't know what's going on in their head. I know one of them for sure has to have some type of mental issue going on that's either undiagnosed or that person just flat out refuses to treat it. Yeah, Eddie, it's not nothing against like It's not nothing against people. It's been more Americans than anybody else that have caused me some issues. There's been some UK people in there involved, but the thing about it is, I got to the point where, um, at first I was worried because all these threats were coming, especially the death threats and we're going to do this, and I know where you live, and they would dox me and that kind of thing, and which doxing is like the doxing is the lowest low you can go, because when you dox somebody, you're putting them in danger, but no danger is actually going to come to them, for the most part. I mean, it's not over here, maybe in America, but not over here. So, like, it doesn't make sense. A lot of the things that these people do doesn't make sense. But I've learned a lot from them, and I've learned a lot about how to discourage trolls and people like that, and encourage positivity. And that's what we try to do over here, is encourage positivity. The Buddy Show says some people can only raise themselves up by tearing someone else down. Yep. And that happens. It does happen. I've seen it happen with my own two eyes. Robert Mack says people are getting prosecuted for doxing in certain cases. That's true. They really are. Hey Jose says really shows how pitiful they are. It does, because when you, especially if you're a retired expat, or you have other means of income coming in, you don't have to work, and you got a wife, or you got a girl, and you're sitting nice and pretty and financially, and you can go around Thailand and have a great life, but you choose a life of trying to tear other people down. For what? I'm not sure. But when you do that shows so much. No matter what you accuse the other person of, that behavior of yours, trying to get everyone's attention to look at how bad someone is, just it shows so much more about your character than it does the person you're trying to talk about. Doxing it, Addie, is giving away people's addresses, locations, phone numbers, places they work, stuff like that. PBJ Time, what's up, man? He said, live life the way you want to, Jeremy. If the losers got you there, they'll get deported fast enough if they start pulling BS. That's the way I've seen it work, and I've seen it work for many people that way. And I don't worry about that stuff anymore, and I'm not interested in really talking a whole lot about the old drama, because it's old. I cleared everybody. I've told them all. I forgive you all. That's not an apology, because I'm not apologizing for stuff that I didn't do. But I forgive them all, and they can go on with their life, and just go on with their life, no problem. Stuck says, when I had problems with the other channel, I begged them to meet me anywhere. None of them ever showed up. Keyboard warriors. I had one experience where one showed up and nothing happened. Like, literally nothing. Mango says, I'd get the cast of Hangover and go after them. I love it. Gordon says, idle hands are the devil's playground. That's a good point, buddy. These people really need a constructive hobby or something. I agree with that 100%. Robert says, thinking farther, they won't. They're cowards. Most of them are. They just sit behind the keyboard and do their thing. And that's what they do. So, moving along in this travel thing, that, guys, is kind of how I ended up in Thailand. And I'm wondering what you guys think. Let's see. MedTech says, Stuck, I didn't know you had a channel, same as your username. Oh, he's talking Stuck. Filtho says, the trolls never watch Kung Fu and never learn to walk on the rice paper without leaving a trace. That's so true, Filthos. So true. Robert, thank you for putting up the PayPal link, because I just want to say real quick that this channel currently really cannot survive without the supporters of this channel. And you guys do such a great job helping me make sure that I have the equipment and the channel fund to make sure we can add the equipment and the money to travel when time prevails. For example, we got a holiday coming up this month, and we got a big holiday coming up next month. I plan to travel both of those, but we need a little more kick, because first thing I want to do on the camera, and you'll see why it's so important when I get it, is get that Rode Go wireless system. It'll be awesome. What is the holiday? I'm not sure if it's a Thai holiday, Todd, but it's I'd have to look at my Thai holiday calendar, and I don't have it on. I don't even have it on my phone. I'm not sure, but it's either this coming Friday or next Friday, or it's either this coming Friday or Monday or next Monday. And then we have a 4-day weekend in November, and then I have 7 holidays I can take in November too. So I'm going to be doing some traveling. I'm going to get just as much content as humanly possible. Try to document everything I do for you guys, and just string that out as long as I can. Okay. Eddie says, I dumped 2 negative Aussies last 3 years. Life is way better. Got away from whining about life. That's good. We are creatures of our environment. I've said this before. I'll say it again for you new people. Take the 5 people that you spend the most time with, their character, average their characters together, and that should be who you are. You should be the average of those 5 people, because as humans, we are products of our environment, right? And as I always say, if you don't believe that's true, go stand in a dumpster and see how long it takes you to start smelling like garbage. So, but that pretty much sums up the environment question. That's why you have to surround yourself with honest people, good people, people that will be there for you, people that will keep their word. It's hard to find people like that. It really is. Hit the thumbs up, says Buddy. Yes, if you are in here and have not hit the thumbs up, please do so. That would be great. Also, if we got 20 people to contribute $5 via PayPal, we would have a wonderful day today. Wonderful day. And just still trying to make sure we have enough cushion so when travel season starts and I've got the holidays, we can get out there and do some things. Chris C says, are you aiming to buy the Rode Link wireless filmmaker kit? Nope. Just the lav mic and the hot shoe mount that goes with it. I guess the receiver is what I'm trying to say. October 23rd is the holiday, according to Robert. And Eddie says, good. NX album called NX Aussie Band. Okay. Chrissy says, and when dating women, look at her closest 5 friends and then run for the hills. Hey, man, there's a lot of truth to that. Because, many women will not date you unless you fit the criteria that their best friends set forth. And I'm like, that is not the kind of girl I want to go out with, for sure. So yeah, take a look at their friends. The first girlfriend I had here in Thailand, she wouldn't meet me by herself. So I had to meet her whole crew. There was like 8 girls there, and 1 guy. and she was looking for approval, and I didn't think she was going to call me back. She barely spoke any English, and I didn't speak any Thai. This was when I first got here, and which I still really don't speak that much Thai. But when she got here, or when I met her, I guess they all approved because some of the people that were there could speak English, so they got some of my jokes and that kind of thing. For whatever reason, that relationship was working until I had to move to Rayon. So it happens. Eddie says, so true. Products by environment definitely are. Definitely are. Gordon says, all time women trade up when it comes to partners. I've heard that before. Really, and to be honest, Gordon, I think men are the same way. To tell you the truth, I think we always look like once you get that one girl that was the one that did everything that you wanted and was the person that you were looking for. Once you get that girl, like it's hard to go. It's hard to date a girl that you feel is less not on your level. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to be negative about the women here. I'm just trying to say we don't date down is what I'm trying to say. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say. But it's a good point. Nonetheless, Stuck says my 3 closest friends are not here anymore, so my posse is pretty small now. I bet so. I would say that in somebody like Stuck's situation, you would be, because I know you are on YouTube quite a bit. So think about the 5 channels that you watch the most. Average that together and see if that's who you are. It may not be. I know some people that are old enough, wise enough, mature enough that they don't turn into that environment. They simply walk away from it before it gets that bad. And that was going to be my next little mini topic here in this live stream. Is it's extraordinarily difficult many times, but it is the right decision always to walk away from anything that causes or brings negativity into your life. Always the right decision. So if I'm a person, obviously I'm a person, but if I'm a person that is bringing negativity into your life, you don't need to have anything to do with me, and vice versa. That's how I live my life. I had to learn a long time ago that it's okay to be lonely and have that feeling of loneliness by yourself for a long time until you find people that are quality people that you want to be around, that you want to spend time with. That it is what it is. Eddie says, I don't follow the sheep herd. I lead my own life. There you go. Chris C says that's I appreciate all the information there, but I don't know how YouTube would handle all that. I'm sure you're right, Chris, but I'm going to pull that one because I don't want them to be like, oh, they're talking bad about women. Da, 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 da. We're not doing any of that stuff because if you've seen some of the censorship that's going out lately, I'm sure you guys know what's going on. Gordon says, ultimately, you are always alone, even when surrounded by loved ones. That is a true statement because that person that loves you so much, that person that would do anything in the world for you, and that person that is always going to be your rock to stand on when times are rough, that rock can crumble or crack at any point in time. it chooses to. So while it's good to have, in my opinion, it's good to have a partner in life. It's always good um, to have some kind of partner in life. It you have to be very selective in who you choose to be your number one, your partner, the person that lives with you. Uh, for me, that would be some type a girl, obviously, and I would say that it was super important to make sure that we're on the same path because, um, as some of you guys know, I was in a third relationship uh, here in Thailand, and that did not work out. That one did not work out. So I've moved on, and she's moved on. Peaceful, nice, peaceful breakup, and nothing wrong with that. Depends on if partner gets bored with you. That is a very good point, Addie. I look at that two different ways. One, I look at it as if a partner gets bored with me, first I take a look at what I'm doing. Like what role am I playing in this relationship? What am I doing that's causing her to get? Or if you're different sexual orientation, that's fine. I'm hetero sexual, so I'm gonna say girl. um, if if I did something to a girl and she's bored with me, I'm looking around thinking, what are you bored with? Because I'm not a boring person to be around. I'm just not. Um, Work 9 to 5, work a little bit when I get home, go to bed, do it all over again Monday through Friday, do a live stream Saturday and Sunday. That really Saturday and Sunday is the days that keep this channel afloat, because that's the days that we get the contributions in. People typically contribute through PayPal. And speaking of, there's the PayPal link. And that's what really keeps this channel going. I couldn't do it without the channel fund, and I couldn't do it without the people that share the videos. You share, take a good video that you like, look back at some of the old videos or whatever, and share it. Share it on your Facebook or whatever, and get some people interested in DoMoreLife. I mean, this is a way of life. We want people to do more life. Addie says, in reality, we're all alone. Depends on if partner gets bored with you. Answer that. Stuck says, my dog loves me as long as I have Scooby snacks. I understand. Filtho says, being alone does not mean you have to be lonely. That's true. I found if you throw yourself into your choice of interest, you're rarely lonely. That is very true. Very true. And people are often drawn to that too. You're right. People are often drawn to people who are like just superbly committed to their dreams, goals, whatever you want to call it. Let me push this back, see if we get a little more light there. Basically, do more life. Yeah, there you go. Basically, just do more life. Just do, being happy in this world is not as easy as people make it out to be. Being happy requires that you have a happy set of that you filled all the voids, really, that you filled all the voids inside, and that you are pursuing something that you love. That's been my personal experience. Robert says, Jeremy, the Vietnamese ladies are great companions, very caring and not Americanized. I would love to come to Vietnam. Robert Mack. I am definitely interested in Vietnam. I will certainly come up around that way and visit everywhere, no matter what vlogger from Thailand goes to Vietnam and tries to trash me. I don't care. I'll go to Vietnam and vlog around a little bit, have some fun, and see if it's the place for me. It might be the place for me. I don't know. Teachers make good money, I heard, in Vietnam. I heard that too. And that's on a side note. If you are looking to come to Thailand and become a teacher, please understand that your pay is not going to be great, especially if you're just starting. If you just have a bachelor's degree and like some type of teaching certification, like a TEFL or something like that, yeah, it's going to be low, and you're probably going to start between 25 and 35,000 baht a month. So between 800 and maybe $1,100, depending on the exchange rate, and that's in USD. Eddie says, Mark Twain, the more I get to know people, the more I love my dog. My best friend is American and Jam Tien, and we have a great conversation over a few beers, and we joke about how people have a different walk. And that's a good conversation to have. It's a good conversation to have. I think it's important to understand other people, where they come from, why they do the things they do. It's good. It's a good conversation. Filto says Vietnam is also an up and comer in terms of economy and infrastructure. My only concern is Todd. Did you just change your name? Okay, bud. Take a shower and have a great day. Thanks for coming by, man. I appreciate the contribution also. Filto says Vietnam is an up and comer in terms of economy and infrastructure. I agree. My only concern in Vietnam is healthcare. So I'll have to see what happens. NYHC for life. Awesome. Robert says there's an older man who moved from Texas to Virginia and has finally retired and in Long and Vietnam. Talked to him. He said it's cheap to live and safe. It looked cheap and safe. I watched a number of Recage videos when he was over there, and it looked like it looked cheap and it looked safe. And the only thing missing over there is you get paid by the hour as a teacher. So if class gets canceled or something, no pay. I guess that's one benefit being here in Thailand, because most of the teaching is not hourly pay. It's usually a monthly contract you sign for 12 months. So there's an international hospital, which is pretty good. That would be cool. I'd be interested to see. I got to do, before I go to Vietnam, I got to be ready to go to Vietnam. Like, I got to do all the research and make sure that everything that I want is there. The whole 9 yards. I got to do all that stuff. So, and I fully intend to do that at some point in time. Eventually, what I would like to do after these events take place in March, around the March timetable, hopefully within about 6 months, I'll be doing well enough that I can take good vacations whenever I want. First thing I want to do is see Thailand. I mean, that's the first thing. There's no reason to go to Malaysia or Vietnam or Cambodia or Laos or anything like that, Myanmar, until I've seen Thailand. I mean, I live in Thailand, which is what I want to see. If you haven't smashed that thumbs up button yet, please do that. And if you have not considered contributing to the channel fund via PayPal, please do that. I'm sure one of my moderators can throw up a PayPal link, and don't need a lot, just need a little. Robert says, I've been coming and going for 10 years and living at wife's house and love it. Never had problems with immigration or anything. Only problems, I left February 10 for 6 weeks and got stuck in California. Wow. That is a problem. That most definitely is a problem. And I'm sorry to hear that, Robert. Very sorry to hear that, bro. That sounds like it would be quite a tremendous problem. I know some friends that got stuck as well, and that wasn't good. But they moved on. Eddie says met a USA teacher in Taiwan who said he's working in Taiwan because he could retire early in life. Yep, Taiwan was on my list. Sorry, guys, I got something going on my arm here. Hope you guys are not looking at it. No, you can't see it. Okay. But Taiwan, I actually interviewed for a job in Taiwan before I interviewed for this job in Bangkok. So my plan was to go to Taiwan, and that changed within about a day because I thought, wow, it'll be so much easier to just stay around Bangkok and to stay in Thailand, with the visa situation. What you don't realize is the visas are so much easier in other countries. I've heard people that have came from there and have said that. Stuck, thank you for putting up the PayPal link. And he says, help Jeremy get out and do more life for the Do More Life family. That is so true because I can only bring you so much content on an AdSense budget. That's the AdSense is just not good right now. It's just not. Gordon says there was a large I read about that in the paper, and we're going to leave that out of the conversation there, brother. Don't take that the wrong way, please. Just understand I can't talk about anything political on this channel, and that is for the safety of the channel, that kind of thing. So I know you understand. Not a big deal. But any more questions on traveling or how I did some of the things I did, where I got to go from place to place, or anything like that? Anything you guys got on your mind? I am here to listen and to let you guys know. Our channel fund, we set $100 goal on Saturday and on Sunday. So today we are $15 into that goal. I would really appreciate being able to see if we could get in there and get a little more, because travel's coming up and that means content's coming up. And I really want to be able to buy this mic system before I go out and hit the road again. That would be very, very nice. Very, very nice. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't know. But it looks like I have a dead live chat right now, and I'm wondering why. is nobody nobody's got any ideas, or nobody's got any thoughts on their mind? I can sit here and talk. Stuck in Florida says testing. You coming through, man. You're coming through. And I'm glad. Eddie says, Taiwan, you see huge posters of politicians on skyscrapers. They're like rock stars. I wasn't there long enough to see that. I've spent a total of 17 and a half hours in Taiwan. Robert says, I'm here. Good. Brandon N., can you stay teaching in Thailand with only a 4-year degree? What are your plans to still stay overseas? Hope all is well with you. Thank you, Brandon. You can teach in Thailand for up to 6 years on a 4-year degree. Every time you change school, so you get a waiver, teaching license waiver for the first 6 years or 3 waivers, whichever comes first. So what I mean by that is, like I worked in Rayon for 1.5 years, But when I moved to Bangkok, I lost 6 months time because I'm now on my second waiver. And once you get on that third waiver, you have to be enrolled in some type of post-secondary education program that Thailand will accept. And once you do that, then you can teach here forever, and you can probably make better money teaching as well. Well, I say forever. They give you 5-year licenses at a time. I don't know of anybody that has taken any kind of exam or anything like that after the 5 years, but PhD, yeah, you'll definitely be okay. Filto says, since it's often chat now, does anyone have experience with bringing their used motorcycle through Thai customs? How bad are the duties? Thinking a 2 to 4 year old Harley. Gonna bring a Harley through customs. That's pretty. I don't know. I don't have any idea, Filto. You know what that would be a good question for? Google. I'm not being funny. I'm really not being funny at all. I think Google would have your answer quicker than anybody else would. I really do. And yeah, try Google. Google exactly your question. How much is the import tax on a whatever Harley? Roger says, if you want to pay about 3 times what it costs in traces, you can do it. That sounds about right. Chris says, is there an age limit for foreigners who want to teach in Thailand? Typically, it's 50, but I've seen some older people teaching. Taxes. Roger says, if you want to pay about 3 times what it costs in taxes, you can do it. Makes sense. Yeah, customs, I have the requirements there. Eddie says, testing. Would now rather go inland Taiwan and spend time with indigenous Taiwan people. Yeah, I was just in Taipei, but I had a good experience in Taipei. I thought it was a good thing. I really did. Thought it was a good thing. Yeah, but Chris, to answer your question, there's about usually 50 is the limit that they set. Really, this is a place though you have to send when you send in a resume, you have to put your religion and you have to send a photo on there. So if they don't like what you look like or like your religion, they're not going to hire you anyway. It's just different. Chris says, I'm 63, so my 10th career move to teach in Thailand just hit a dead end for me. Most likely. There's still places that would hire you, but you would have to find them. I don't know where that would be. Eddie says Google is your best friend overseas for safety. That's very true. Roger. Robert says, I would like to visit Taipei. I would like to visit Taipei when I had time to stay. That would be even better. And if you have not hit the thumbs up button yet, please do so. I think we lost Robert. I have not seen Robert in a long time, so maybe he's having internet problems. Chris C says, I have a master's in biology, so maybe there's hope. Yeah, if you got a master's in biology, there's probably some hope for you. As long as you don't look like a dead man walking, they probably will entertain hiring, because they always need more than English teachers. They need biology and science and different kinds of math teachers, stuff like that. There's Robert. And Robert just jumps back in with a PayPal. Appreciate you throwing back up the link, bud. And anybody that wants to contribute, again, I would greatly appreciate it. Chris says time to hit the gym. Yep. You can hit the gym, but like I said, biology teacher, specialty stuff like that, is not only, and you have a master's, so you would make a lot more money than um, just a person that has a bachelor's degree or whatever, because technically you're teaching in a specialized field, and I think that would go a lot farther than um, just your average teacher. That's been my experience. Science teachers, math teachers, um, those kinds of teachers, computer teachers, technology teachers that teach in English in a like an English program tend to make more money. So you would definitely learn, or you would definitely see the difference quite soon. Quite soon. So I guess I'll give it about 15 more minutes here. And as close as we can get. well, I got $15, but if we can get some contributions in 15 minutes, I greatly appreciate it, guys. If not, it'll work out one way or the other. Certainly not going to be mad at anybody, but contributions would definitely be appreciated. So we'll give it about 15 minutes. We'll go about 2 hours, and that should be a good live stream for today. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. We're almost at 50. Addie says, got off the plane in Taipei to catch a bus to somewhere else, and my jaw dropped as could not believe so many buildings you have to see to believe. That is 100% correct. Chris says, I was thinking of teaching at a school of nursing for medical technology careers. I'm not sure if that's a thing here. I haven't heard of people doing that, but I guess you could. I mean, I don't know of any reason why you couldn't. Yeah. That could be something you could do. Teaching here is difficult. First of all, right now you can't teach here because you can't. I mean, you can teach here if you're already in the country, but you can't teach. You can't be from America. Yeah, we need challenge, Jim. That's right. Our experience. We need somebody to throw out a challenge like they used to, like we used to on here, because I hate to see it dry up right here before travel season for me starts, which is October and November. That's when I do most of my traveling. So want to try to get as much as we can, but it is what it is. Maybe somebody will throw out a challenge. That would be cool. But yeah, we do need the old school. We do need the old school gym challenge back. Addie says, Chris C, retire, mate. You deserve relaxation. I'm going to tend to agree with Addie, Chris. If you have a reliable pension or just a reliable source of income coming in, then come to Thailand and live, man. Halloween soy cowboy, I don't know about that. I don't know about that, man. I might get myself in trouble down in that area. Yeah, I might really get myself in trouble down in that area. So I don't know. It's possible, are you experienced, but YouTube is taking this strong approach against anything, that shows any kind of skin. And I mean, I don't really know what's going on, but I'm kind of scared to try, and I want to tiptoe around it a little bit. Just to be careful. Eddie says, Christy, you don't owe anything to anyone, mate. That's true. Christy. Stuck says, Christy, you can retire in Thailand. Absolutely, you can retire in Thailand. What's up, Kev? I hadn't seen you in a long time, man. Roger says you could teach online, Chris, at your own schedule. You can, although it's technically illegal to do that in Thailand without a work permit. But there are, I'll tell you that there are a tremendous number of people who teach online over here. So some of them have work permits and some of them don't. It's just the way it is. The nightlife area is the only place to celebrate Halloween. Good point. Our experience. That's a good point. Yep, teaching online never works. There's a lot of programs out there now. Different. There's Landy. There's Magic Ears, which seems to be the most popular at the moment. There's still Data still hanging around. VIP Kids is still hanging around. So those are places that you can find online teaching, but you really need some online teaching experience before you go to those places, especially if you're going to go do a demo for like Magic Ears, because some of those places are just, you know, they're just really they pay good and they expect you to do well. I've thought about it many times, just giving up on YouTube for a moment for 6 months or so, and only putting out anytime I go somewhere, or documenting a little something, or whatever the case may be, and seeing what happens, because and then teaching online, because the fact of the matter is sometimes it just doesn't pay to spend this much time on YouTube. Like I've taken up, well, I would in 10 minutes I'll be taking up 2 hours of my day, and it sometimes the reward's worth it, but sometimes it's not. To be honest with you, I love talking to you guys though, and it is what it is. Robert's got the PayPal link up again. Help the channel fund. I think just don't feel like we're going to get any help today, and that's okay. We've had days like this before. We will find a way. Gordon's Alive says retiring is easy if you are prepared to let go of all the burdens and hang-ups in your home country. That's a good point. Stuck says Gordon's Alive. I'm ready. I hear you, man. I hear you, and I completely understand. So, if you're looking to retire in Thailand, I would, that I would do it. You're old enough. It all depends on your financial situation too, because there's a lot of financial paperwork that has to go into you getting a retirement visa and all that stuff. Hey, Mad Max, what's up, brother? He's at work. Stopped to say hi. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Very, very much. Addie says, best thing about life is you choose who to wake up in bed with. If she nags, then bye-bye, but makes me laugh. She stays. That's pretty much what it what it comes down to. Someone that can make you laugh, or someone that can't. That's pretty much what it comes down to. I'm trying to make sure my Yahoo isn't broken, because I don't think I've ever seen a day when we've only got $15 in contributions. But nope, it is not broken. That is correct. $15. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Interesting. Steak in Florida says, when I realized in 2010 that I wasn't going to be able to retire in 2015, I went through a depression for about 6 months. Hey, man, I understand. I understand 100%. Lyle says, you're still on Yahoo? What's your question? I don't understand the question about Yahoo. Yeah, I'll wait on Lyle's response on that, because I'm not sure what he's talking about. Being on Yahoo. I do have a Yahoo email address, if that's what you're asking, but I don't give it out because I have the PayPal link, and the PayPal, so you don't need to look me up. I said Yahoo says You know what I miss about 7-Eleven? Please tell us our you experience. What do you miss about 7-Eleven? Christy says, I'm going to vacation in Thailand first, explore and see what it's like. The high heat there seems to be intimidating. I live in a temperate climate in Michigan, so I'm spoiled. Yep, you'll have to get used to the climate for sure. For sure. Oh, hello, welcome at 7-Eleven. Our experience. That's good, man. I like that. Addie says when he gets depressed, he blasts U2 song "No Line on the Horizon." There you go. You said Yahoo says. Oh, Yahoo sends me a message when I get a when anytime there's activity on my PayPal account or other accounts. Sorry, Lyle, I misunderstood your question there. Stuck says chocolate milk and ham and cheese toasties. Are you experienced? Man, that sounds good, dude. That sounds really good. Chocolate milk, ham and cheese toasties. Woo! That's a 7-Eleven meal for sure. For sure. 7-Eleven meal. What else we got? We got less than 5 minutes here. 20 past 4. When you're depressed, watch clips of World War II or Vietnam War, and I realize things ain't too bad in our lives usually. Yep, that's one way a lot of people deal with it, and me, I think I don't know. I deal with it a little bit different, but for most people, that's a solid way to deal with it. Addie says Thais think 7-Eleven is everything, but it's a shop. Roger says I lost my pizza cutter, so I used an old Bryan Adams CD. It cuts like a knife. That's a good one, bro. Gordon says had me some ham and cheeses last night. I hear you, brother. Oh, that brand of chocolate milk. Yeah, good stuff. 20 past 4. I'm at a Thai restaurant having Thai milk, iced tea, and pork belly as we type. That's awesome, dude. I've been eating some pork neck lately, and without trying to get without the fat. So it is what it is. Chris says, Jeremy, I'm reading a 3-book series on dating info for men. Will I get deleted if I mention the book series? I don't think so. Just type the name of the book series. It'll be okay. Stuck in Florida says I go to a village in a poor area, and that makes me realize quickly how good I have it. That's very true. Me as well. 2.5 minutes, guys. We're going to shut it down. So if you got any last words or last anything you want to say, get it in now. 20 past 4 says volume down, though. Sorry, I understand. Could see you spoke my comment, though, by your mouth. Chris C says the rational male. Wow, I have to take a look at that. Ren editor. Yes, there are. Prep for it says I'm fasting right now. This is killing me. I just watched a lengthy video on fasting the other night, and in fact, it was last night I watched it, and it seemed more complicated than I had originally anticipated, but at the same time, I don't know. 20 past 4 says be back soon. I won't be here. Minute and a half, and I'm gonna run off and get to editing some videos. How much money to live a good luxury life in Thailand, Ren? That all depends on what your definition is of luxury life. For me, $3,500 US a month would be a luxury life. For most people, about $5,000 to $7,000 would be a luxury life. I'm talking in USD. It just depends on your lifestyle, what you want to do. Depends on your lifestyle, what you want to do when you be here, what your goal is when you get here, and yeah, we're not going to talk about hand-meter. Sorry, Addie. Can't do that one. Chrissy says, have a great day, Jeremy. Good to see your head is still above water. We're still above water for sure, man. And thanks for being a part of the chat there, Chris. We got about 30 seconds. Vincent says, "What's up? Good. What's up, Vincent? Good to see you. Thank you for stopping by." And I would just say thank you to everyone who has been a part of the live stream today. Thank you to everybody that has the people that did contribute today. I genuinely appreciate it. Yeah, you're right, Gordon. You're right about that. The spaghetti on white sauce is also delicious. That's true too. Are you experienced? But he was talking about a luxury lifestyle, Gordon. So that's why I said that. 2,500 a month in Thailand, and I'm balling. Yeah, the only reason I need a little extra is because of healthcare. So I hope you guys enjoyed the first part of this video, listening to my story on traveling. I genuinely appreciate you guys taking the time to listen. And I appreciate those of you who monetarily contributed to the channel today. Next week, maybe we'll get some more. In fact, we may not have a live stream next weekend, because I may be traveling. I don't know yet. I will let you guys know. And with that being said, I'll just say have a good day, good evening, wherever you are. I'm glad the family got back together. And take care, everybody. I love you all, and have a blessed and wonderful day. Whatever you do, be sure you do more life.